Hey, how's it going? I told you I would be back. All right. A day late. Not, sorry about that. But okay. Let me flip my mic around a little bit. There we go. So what have I got for you today? You know what? I gotta gotta clean up just a smidge. Okay. All right. So I showed you guys last time some of these coasters that I was working on. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple of these out versus bringing the whole thing over. So I made these sets of coasters. So again, I've molded these myself. I did buy a silicone mold set. I poured the molds, made them, sanded them down, painted them, sealed them, placed the bottoms on, so they're, a complete set now. These ones, I decided that I really, really like them. My husband does not like them so much, but of course, I was talking the other day about the fact that last year when I did my craft show, the first thing that sold, actually the first like 4 things that sold were all things that my husband didn't like. So, it's kind of a thing now. Since my husband didn't necessarily like these all that much, I've decided that I do have a couple more sets of these to do to get ready for the shows in this fall. And so I'm just going to do another set. I'm going to do another set of these. Hello, thunder. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that. That sounds so brilliant. It is finally cooling down over here, and we just got hit with this gorgeous flash of rain. I love it. I love it. I hope you guys got to hear that. That was awesome. So I'm going to make another one of these, but I decided I didn't want to do it in blue, and so I picked my favorite color, the burgundy. Now I'm going to show you, because on camera I realized it looks really, really funny. So I went ahead and painted the base coat, and I did 2 coats, and of course you can still see with these that they look really, really spotted, right? Now the camera increases that, right? They look really, really, really spotted under the camera when they're not quite that bad. But after 2 coats, and this thing here happened exactly the same with these, right? But you can't tell. It all blends into the background. So instead of going through and doing a 3rd and a 4th coat, I'm kind of running out of paint as it is. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this. I got like mark on there. So I'm gonna leave these like this. What I'm actually gonna do though is I don't think I need my Lazy Susan today. I've been working without it. Actually, like I said, if you were here for my check-in, 90% of everything that I've been doing is out in my living room, and so I don't have all of that stuff, and I didn't have the Lazy Susan to be working with anyways. So I don't think I'm going to need that. I'm just going to go ahead and put this down. I don't have a ton of light down here, but I'll try to maybe adjust that a smidge. Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna get into this. See if I can turn my light up a little. All right. Let's see. A lot of this is going to be just flowing through some flowers. I'm gonna just do a quick size check. I think I was working with 6s. Yeah, easier said than done. I just dumped all of my tools out on the desk. Okay, so I was working with a 6 for those, and an 8. Okay. All right. And then I think these were probably 6s as well. Yeah. All right. So like I said, I'm just going to do the same things. Could potentially be a little boring. I don't know. All right, so colors. I have got 2 grays, slate gray, sky gray. I've got the base white and then the burgundy that I use to paint it with. Okay. Essentially for my flowers, they're gonna start out with the gray. So I'm gonna get some of the dark gray in here first. Now actually on the original blue coasters, one of the things that I did is for some of these, I actually drew a circle, and I might go ahead and do that again just because I know it sounds stupid and I really don't need to do it. It's not like necessary because I'm an idiot and I can't do it at all. But what I found is that it started to drive me crazy at some point. Let me get my compass set up here real quick. It started to drive me a little bit bonkers at some point that the flowers weren't completely all even. So probably want to do about 1 inch. Okay. Whoa, oops. Okay. All right. So, and all of these are going to be relatively randomly placed. The only thing is I just want to make sure that I'm not getting too close to any one edge here. Let me get my hand. You know what? I'm going to do this over here. I don't want my gigantic hands in the camera so you can't see anything. On the bottom of my compass point, I just have a little bit of black clay. That looks awful. Huh. Let me fix that real quick. Because that slipped. Okay. There. And like I said, the reason I initially did this, kind of go back to it a little, is that when I started working on them, I was like watching television and, you know, talking with my family. I was, you know, just sort of hanging out and not paying any attention to what I was doing. And I'll actually show you the box that I was working on while I was doing that. Because it didn't turn out great. Let's be honest. It went all wonky. And so just for my own sanity, just makes it easier just to drop something in here. So I've got the 4 coasters and then I've got the little trinket dish here. Let's make sure I covered this up. I'm not sure what happened right there. And I am using charcoal pencil, by the way. I'm not just using a white color pencil. Okay, all right, close enough. Okay. When I did the box, look at this. What the heck did I do? That's kind of funny. So that's why I did that. Let's see. I've got gray and we're gonna do a 6. For me, my go-to tool has been and probably always will be just my little swoosh tool. So we'll do the base of these first and then I'll do the dragonflies. If you are practicing swooshes, or if you don't think you're very good at them, these, I mean, this is the best way to practice ever. So all I'm gonna do, so my center, in order to do a swoosh this way, take the tool very lightly through the middle, and then along this midline, grab the side and bring it to the center. Grab some more paint on my tool. The first one or two, I never quite have enough paint on my tool. There. And I don't have to stick exactly to the circle that I've made either. I can totally deviate from that. I've already moved that a little bit to the side. So I'm not making a mandala out of these, right? So I don't need them all to be the same. I'm happy and fine with them being very loose, a little bit odd shaped if they happen to be, you know, a little more organic. And these ones here, the darker gray, this is just my background. I mean, as you can tell, too, from the way that the background was painted, so you know, you can kind of see through in many spaces. I'm really not worried about the perfection part of it. Okay, I don't want the edges to show a line. Go back and fill that. Okay, because these are going to get two top dots. Let's see. This one went askew a little bit, so let's go ahead and put that towards the middle. I warn you, there's a bunch of this, so hopefully you guys are maybe painting with me, doing something else. I mean, this is really fun for me. It's really relaxing. It's one of the reasons I started doing this particular style like this. It wasn't as rigid. I didn't have to make sure that I was constantly symmetrical. I like swooshes. I like kind of more abstract stuff too. It just makes me feel good. All right, okay. I am gonna wipe my tools off between coasters just to make sure I have a nice clean palette to work with. I don't want it getting kind of funky. Dry. And And you can tell I didn't actually even make the center dot here. I didn't mark the center of it, so I'm just kind of like, it's somewhere here. It's somewhere here-ish. The closest I'm getting to symmetry right now is starting out on the 4 points. So I don't get too far off. Now with these ones, I actually did not pick up another, this one needed to be like here. I actually didn't pick up another box. So I am not doing a box for these ones. Which I don't know how important the box really is. I don't know if people really like the box. I usually end up just stacking my coasters. I don't have any holders for them myself. Okay, I guess this one I decided to go with 2, so we'll do 2 dots in between. I could probably squeeze a third one in there, but I guess we decided this one's gonna be 2. I can't remember how many I did with the other one. Yeah, I think I did 2. And here at the end, if I think that there's just a little bit too much space, then I'll just go more inside the ring. What I'm gonna do, let's not bore everybody and just do all of these at once. Let's get some dragonflies in. I love my simple dragonflies, so we'll drop them in here. Okay. Need a couple of tools sitting next to me. All right, what direction do we want him going in? Her, it, whatever. Okay. I kind of want them all different. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back into my second size here. Now the wings are, the size difference of the wings is purely aesthetic because I know dragonflies have the same size wings. I guess this would be more of like a damselfly. But okay, we're still gonna call it a dragonfly. All right, one dragonfly. Let's get you some wings, my friend. See how close to the edge I can get that. Oops. Okay, so I'm dropping that from a 6 to a 5. I got some white paint there. Easiest thing in the world to go over and fix. And since this one ended up right here on the edge, I'm gonna see if I can't incorporate that and see if I can do something to maybe make it rounder or something, because otherwise I'll just paint over that. So okay, so there's those two. Let's go back to my 6 here. Whoops. Did not get enough on there. Okay. I'm closing it in just a tiny bit. And so they're a little bit fatter now, a little shorter. Even though, like I said, it's something very, very simple, it is extraordinarily easy to just kind of go off the rails and make things look totally wonky. So. Need to get a tiny more paint in here. And these patterns, the dragonfly and the flower, I really hope inspire somebody to do something. They're so simple. And like I said, even if you're just practicing swooshes, this is like the funnest practice. The other ones I'll be able to get a top dot on probably after I'm done with this. I don't think I'll need any extra waiting time for that to dry. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Last one. So move this over. Oh, 1 second, guys. Hold on. All right, sorry. Had a solicitor at the door. Okay. Yeah, we are definitely in a day and age where nobody comes to visit. It's not like, you know, my friend or my family is knocking on my door. You know, anytime someone knocks on the door, you know there's either trouble or it's a solicitor. So who wants to go answer the door? All right. All right, just that second even there. My paint already wanted to start drying on the top. Okay. Oh, come on. There. I admit this is not looking like much about now, is it? It's kind of cool that the base layers and building it up brings so much to it. Okay, need a little bit more paint, I think. Ooh, it's just dragging like crazy. Okay. All right, hold on. We'll fix you. Now, if these swooshes were on top, and this was another kind of piece, I would not be letting it do that. I'd probably start over. I don't want any of the scratch marks to be seen, you know, I wouldn't want the edges to be anything but really nice and sharp, but and something that I do here that might also maybe help somebody else. So when I'm doing these, not only am I doing, you know, the 4 northeast, southwest first, but when I put these in here, instead of just starting, you know, on the side here and bringing the sides down, I always do the middle first. And that's because I want the points to be evenly spaced around this. Because if I start out at the edges, the brain kind of has a tendency to want to stick closer to this one. The points then, if you're not careful anyways, the points then will all end up close to each other and not even. So instead of them being even, they'll be like this. And then you end up with really weird gaps. Okay. All right, so that takes care of all the base of those. Let's get some dragonflies on here. Where do we want this one? You know what? I probably should have put this a little bit over and then I could have wrapped it around on this side, but okay, since I didn't, let's see if I can kind of do it there. Now I'm just going down, I'm actually just walking the dots here, but if you've never watched me before, I don't like doing walked dots with the same tool if the tool is larger than anything above a 3. I just find that it doesn't look as nice, and so I just use a different tool size. I'll just make these 2 dots and then I'll go down a size progressively. So keep that 6 handy. Let's see. If the base was a little bit drier, I probably would have actually just, like, especially with this one, I probably would have put the wing over the flower, but I know that they're not that dry yet. Now with these, I'll actually be giving them a nice coat on top of a shiny white pearl or silver. So they won't be just pure white. This wing is a little short, huh? I'm going to stick with the 5, and I'm going to get some other flowers added in here. We're going to go back to the dark. Let's see. It's another super simple flower design that anybody can master. 3 dots in a row. And then tuck one in to each of these crevices here. Just like that. And although I'm keeping one large flower, 2 small, and a dragonfly on each one of them, I do want to be a little bit random about their placement so they don't look all identical. And especially with this design, I'm sure that you guys can see why that this is, you know, it's not really been recorded or really streamed. Very relaxing, very cool to do, but not like the most exciting thing ever. But, you know, this is something cool to do, you know, listening to your favorite music, watching a television show, audiobook, something like that. This is one of those wind down at the end of the day activities. Don't have to think too much. Need some more. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's see if I can show you the second layer here. I am running out of paint. Holy moly. Okay. I will start here. Make sure that this is dry enough. Okay. I'm going to go down to a 5.5 instead of just a 5 because these were a 6 and normally I'd go down a full size. But what I want to do is actually bring this one right up here. And I'm going to cover that over. Actually, I think I still am going to go down to a 5. I want to be able to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Okay. Oops. Why did I dip that in the dark one? No, no, no. Okay. Okay. Because I can always make it bigger. I can always drag it out a little farther. But if I go over too far, it's much harder to fix. Okay. So I'm just aiming for this point at the bottom of the dot where I start to pull from. That's where I want the top one to sit. And that was why I wasn't too worried about anything on the bottom. As far as if you could even see like the little scratch lines or whatever, you know, not having enough paint on the tool and just kind of pulling it down anyways, because I knew that I'm putting this over it. As long as I get a nice base, then we're okay. I can shape this one up just a little bit better. Oops. So that's essentially what I'm doing there. You can see me do that a couple more times. Once that's done, it's going to get another line on top. We're going to do a top dot on the Dragonfly. It's going to get possibly some color in addition to the silver, and then these ones are going to get some color as well. So it's just all layering this stuff up. If it was just a simple design, a normal mandala design, I'd probably already be done. Doing the top is slowing me down quite a bit. I think the last time I did this, I let the paint underneath dry overnight. I think I did it the second day. So yeah. Trying to be really careful here, not pressing down at all, using the paint just to kind of flow over the top of it. So I don't want to scratch into it at all. So just have to pull that with feather, light touch. On the blue ones, I think the only color, I don't think I added any color to the Dragonfly. Let me look. No, I just did silver. I don't know if I want to this time or not. Or just keep that kind of a thing. Just the silver and the white. The silver is like a sparkly silver though. It's a pearl. So... I'm gonna finish this particular flower and then I am out of here, guys. Gotta get dinner started and stuff like that. And then I'll just be finishing these and off camera. I don't know that anyone is like super interested in watching me do this same thing for another hour. I mean, if you are, let me know and I'll finish it this weekend. I'll bring you along, but I just figured it's nice tonight. Raining, finally cooled down. I could finally get back in here, you know, to my normal, I wouldn't even call it a studio, my desk here, where I can paint under proper lights. I can physically record stuff, so I thought I would. So. See me getting rushed here. Okay. I have a couple lines on there. I think they will settle. All right. Okay, so let me pop the blue ones in front here. So this is essentially what I'm duplicating, right? So I've got the two colors. So you see I've got the, and you know, the camera really doesn't do it justice. The pearl that I put on here is really super sparkly. especially I think I'm gonna do the coating on these ones a little thicker, make it less of a matte and do a really nice shine on these ones, do a high gloss on these instead. And then maybe I'm thinking about incorporating some color back into the Dragonfly. I don't know, I'll play with that a little bit. I might just keep it white and keep these two identical in that way. But like I said, I'm gonna let these dry. You can kind of see where they're going. If anybody, like I said, if anybody really has any interest in just hanging out with me this weekend, you know, Saturday or Sunday morning, I will absolutely paint with you. You know, come hang out with me Saturday, or probably Saturday or Sunday morning, and I can finish them up with you guys on stream. So we can have a little chat, do a little paint along, something like that. If it's not that much of an interest, I totally get that, and I will pull these out into the living room and finish this with the fam, you know, while we're hanging out and watching TV or something. So, all right, but thank you guys for joining me. I really, really do appreciate it. I am gearing up for the fall craft season. If you guys out there are doing your own craft fair stuff, I'd love to see it. Drop by the group, you know, drop me a comment, something like that. I kind of want to see what everyone is doing this year. I don't even know what's popular this year. I don't know what's going to sell. I don't know what's not. I've got a ton of new stuff that I'm doing and trying for the first market to kind of see how it goes. So wish me luck, and I will catch you this weekend. No matter what, I'll be doing something. So all right, take care guys. Happy dotting and see you later. Bye.